That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net. And together, we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
On this track I made up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and you don't stop. Yo, my name is D-Nice, although I hate to admit it. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how I did it. See, every episode remains in this mode. Very cool, very calm, there's no sweat in my palm. I just pick up the mic, proceed with a song. I get right to the point, my composition's not long or short. It's like a sport, hanging in the middle. But now if you're puzzled, let me kick the whole riddle. That my name is Derek, and if I didn't mention D-Nice, it's just a description.
KBLA Talk 1580. Yep, he is joining us on First Things First. I'm so excited to welcome one of the architects of hip hop. He is a producer, a DJ, obviously a rap artist, and one of the pioneers of the culture. D-Nice, welcome.
I can't even lie. When that beat dropped, I just got so hyped. I was low-key so excited on this end, like, that's me.
I love that so much. It's funny because people like my kid and also some of the old heads were like, "Oh, this new DJ D-Nice is so dope!" Right during the club quarantine, when. Yeah. You had hundreds of thousands of people and the first lady and all kinds of people flocking to your Instagram. Oh, this DJ is this new guy is hot. But
which is actually it's so funny because like that feeling, like I've been DJing for a long time now, like roughly 20 years but I was mainly doing private events. So most people that knew me as a rap artist didn't even know I was doing these private events. So I'd already been playing, for the Obamas or Super Bowl. People really thought I was like a new artist, and I was like, nah, I've been here a long time.
Yeah, but that's a gift in itself, right? I mean, to be on the mic or to be on the turntables or some combination of them. I mean, you've done it all, and constantly be able to still be reinventing yourself. I mean, that's pretty dope.
It is. Honestly, it's a blessing, though. I'll tell you a quick story. Like one of my friends, when the world started to reopen, she said, "Do you mind if I stop by your house?" And I was like, "All right, cool." She was like, "I want you to meet someone." And she was like, "But I need you to put your hat on and come outside." And I walked outside, and the woman who was sitting in the front rolled down the back window, and it was like this 2 to 3 year old child. And the child looked at me and was like, and his mom said, "Baby, who's that?" And he said, "It's D-Nice." And for me, in that moment, I was like, wow, like someone's grandmother to their grandchild, like they know me, and some know me for different reasons. So to be relevant right now is one of the greatest feelings that I've ever experienced in my life.
I love that because I feel like in the entertainment business in general, but especially in hip hop, people do so many stupid things trying to be relevant. Like they're literally killing themselves and doing ridiculous stuff to be relevant. And it seems like it just flows for you.
Well, I will say the best part about it is just being who I am. Honestly, what you see is literally what you get. I am a person who first of all, I'm God's ear, and I'm a father. I love music. It's just like music is just my life, and I care about people. I care about community. So it's easy to just be who you actually are. And I'm just grateful that I've been doing this for a very long time, and I'm still here. And as a matter of fact, not only am I just still here, I'm actually having fun.
That's even better.
Love it.
That's even better. Yeah, and maybe that's the key, because you're able to be your authentic self. You don't have to be so extra to stay relevant. I mean, I feel like with the club quarantine, it was really what people were looking for was joy and community. and you brought
Yeah.
both of those things.
Yep, that's what when people, even sometimes in interviews when they ask me about that, like, what do you think it is? I always start off with like, one, Club Quarantine doesn't belong to me, like that concept. Club Quarantine belongs to people. It was all about community. I was like, the music that I was playing was secondary to the actual comments that people in the conversations that people were actually having. I was like the background music for people to still find ways to stay connected to one another. So like, yeah, that's why I tend to not even to push about what I'm about to do, but like I tend to do these shows where I even though the quarantine is over, it's like people call the crew CQ, like because they still have like this connection. And it's really a beautiful community, and it's a community all based on love and the love of music.
I mean, I wanted to start with right now because you're actually doing an amazing, we can call it Club Quarantine, but it's in person. It's D Nice and Friends for New Year's Eve. And you
Yes.
got, Johnny Gill, Big Daddy Kane, a whole bunch of folks, and you. It at the Disney Concert Hall of all places.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell me about that.
Well, when someone from the Disney Concert Hall reached out to me and said, "Hey, we got an idea. What do you think about doing, your event here?" It's honestly like one of my favorite places that I've ever been, and to be able to take hip hop, and especially as an adult, like I'm not a new artist. I've been around for a very long time.
Yeah, what a,
So to take the love that I have of music and DJing, and to be able to present it on that stage is like one of the highlights of my DJ career, honestly. And when they asked, I reached out to a couple of friends. I was a little nervous. I'll be honest with you, even though I have like all these artists on there, the first person that came to mind was Johnny Gill. I was like, man, if I could get Johnny to like rock with me, this would be everything.
I love that. I mean, I was going to say, I want to get into your story because I think some people do know and they're excited. They're already in the YouTube chat excited about it, but some don't. But I wanted to start with the now just because it's funny to me that you're this hot, and funny in a happy way, that you're this hot artist after being, in the business since the 80s. I mean, and that's a testament to your energy. But you have Johnny Gill, Kenny Burns, Tisha Campbell is the MC, which is
Tisha Holden.
That's hot. Tweety,
Yes,
I mean, a lot of folks. It's going to be a whole vibe. Sounds like
it is going to be a vibe. I'm excited. It's actually just going to feel like a live DJ set. There's no breaks. It's just this constant flow of partying, literally just like what my sets are. So no breaks. We just keep going, and the party just keeps elevating. And I'm extremely fortunate, one, to if anyone that's listening has ever been to like one of my CQ shows, it really is like dancing nonstop. But what makes me happy is that these artists could have been anywhere else, anywhere they wanted to be in the world on New Year's Eve, but they chose to rock with me. And you talk about that being a testament of love and friendship, and like these people are literally putting their trust in me to put on this hot show, and I am forever grateful.
Yeah, and I guess people are going to be dancing in their seats. I mean, the Disney Hall isn't like an acoustic achievement. It's a beautiful space, but it doesn't usually have a dance floor. So I guess we're going to be standing up and dancing in our seats.
Look, we're going to stand up and dance in our seats. We can get Johnny Gill to do one slow song, because we do need one slow song from Johnny. We may sit down just for that.
Yeah.
We're not letting Johnny get off the stage without some kind of love song, man. But people are going to dance in their feet. And I think it's when you're in that room and everyone's looking so beautiful and feeling so good, you're not even thinking about the seat. You're really thinking about the energy that's flowing throughout that beautiful room.
And the entertainment. I mean, you by yourself are entertaining. Now you got all these artists. And I was wondering about that. Like when from Club Quarantine to now, it seems like you are bringing new energy to some of these artists that we love, but sort of introducing them to a new generation. Have you experienced that? Are you noticing that kind of a trend?
Well, definitely noticed that, during and there was a reason for it, during that time when we when we were kind of locked in our homes, I was playing records that felt like love. Not that the newer songs don't feel like love, because they all do, but there was just something about like playing a Melba Moore or a Stephanie Mills record. You know, a lot of the younger kids only knew those songs that was based on samples, so they didn't know the originals. So to be able to play the originals and to actually have the artist on my IG Live talking about the making of those songs made everything special. So it made all of the younger people kind of feel like, wow, didn't know the history. But then it also made like the older people kind of respect the younger generation too, and to feel relevant and to feel good. And like you said, to bring new life into these songs, which is why I always, you know, I got a newer artist on, you know, the New Year's Eve show at the Walt Disney Concert Hall. You know, I have Lady London. A lot of older people may not know who Lady London is, but she's actually one of the dopest young new MCs out there. So it's like kind of dope to be like this like bridging the gap between my generation and the younger generation.
Yeah, I think it's important. It's almost like it's music history, but it's also the intergenerational love, which I don't know that our internet culture necessarily fosters that all the time.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, but I'm as a dad, I'm sure you know a thing or two about that.
Oh no, I do. Listen. My daughter wanted me to take her to a concert recently, and I took her, and I didn't know anything. I only knew like one song, and I was like, wow, this is different. But it was still kind of good to have like that connection with her, you know, like to be able to listen to what she wants to hear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love sharing music generationally.
It's weird too. I mean, my kid, you know, I'm a longtime hip hop lover, and my kid just the way he sees it is so different, and what he'll call out is so different to me. Oh, that's way back in the day, Mom. It's just, but yet the hip hop culture still survives. You know, he's still into it. It's just his own stuff that I might not be as much into. But I never thought way back when that the hip hop culture would still be so dominant. Did you?
Being a part of it from you know, back in the day, from, you know, I started in hip hop in 1986.
Right.
You know, so it was still kind of in its infancy. Mm-hmm. So to still be here and to watch it evolve, like, I love it. It's you know, I don't always agree with every lyric. Like, let me be clear, but even back in the day, like, we do have to be honest with ourselves. We had Public Enemy, and we had KRS, and we had Queen Latifah, but we also had Uncle Luke.
Right.
We had a little bit of everything.
Right.
You had the balance, you know, and, you know, those records were fun back then. We didn't necessarily agree with all the lyrics, but the records were fun. You know, you go to a club and it's fun. I think, like, right now, sometimes it's just missing a little balance, but I think it's kind of corrected itself because we do have newer artists that are making some phenomenal music, you know, and I love to see the culture grow. I love to see the culture grow and the energy grow, but also love seeing the business side of it grow, because we didn't have that much of the business side back then, because we didn't know this was going to still be here. And now when you see how people are creating generational wealth by doing what they love, I think it's important. And it's important to support some of the younger people.
We're talking with DJ D Nice. He's got a big old New Year's Eve party going on here in Los Angeles. And I can't wait to talk a little bit more about those early days and how you got from point A to point B. That's coming up on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
So the thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it's uncomfortable to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. And only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for up to 8 hours for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer's suggested price, however, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer, excludes 8-count pack.
On behalf of the Ayers family, KBLA Talk 1580 announces the public funeral services for our very own Robin Ayers on Saturday, December 21st, 12 noon, in the living room at the Faithful Central Bible Church, 400 West Florence Avenue in Inglewood. Robin will be sorely missed by all who knew her. and the many lives she touched. We will hold on to our fondest memories forever. Family and friends are invited to come celebrate Robin's joyful life Saturday, December 21st at 12 noon in the living room at Faithful Central Bible Church, 400 West Florence Avenue in Inglewood. KBLA Talk 1580 extends sincere condolences to the Ayers family. Robin will always be in our hearts.
I never told you all I wanted to say.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Somebody bring out the confetti, baby!
Starting Monday, January 6th, KBLA Talk 1580 has a new midday lineup.
I'm excited.
Are you ready for Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornel West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, and E. Quarterly Corte back-to-back?
Oh my God.
Are you really ready for all this smoke?
I'm ready, brother.
Yes, we still have Dominique DiPrima in the mornings and Zoe Williams in the evenings, but middays just got lit on KBLA Talk 1580.
We on fire.
All across America, people are talking about our new midday lineup. Starting Monday, January 6th, our KBLA 1580 app downloads are on fire because everybody's going to be tuning in.
Yes, I love you guys. You are the bomb.
Now would be a good time to hit up SMB at KBLA1580.com if you want folks to hear about your business or brand. That's SMB at KBLA1580.com. It's going up in 2025 on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's going up.
That's what I want.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
We're talking with DJ D Nice. He's got a huge party going on at the Disney Concert Hall for New Year's Eve. And believe it or not, people do show up in suits, ties, and evening gowns to Disney Concert Hall. But you don't have to. You could actually come in your sneakers if you want to. But you've got an incredible lineup there. And that place it holds, I think, a little under 2,500. So if you want to go, you better hurry up because I'm sure it's going to sell out. And it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. So
Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah. So I mentioned that you've reinvented yourself a number of times, but let's go all the way back. You were one of the founders of the world famous Boogie Down Productions.
Correct. Yes, I started in the group when I was 15 years old. The group actually was started by KRS-1 and DJ Scott LaRock, and it's so crazy. I was telling Dave Chappelle, who was like one of my friends, and I was telling him, he asked me one day, like, how did you meet KRS? And I told him, I was like, oh, my cousin was a security guard at the men's shelter in the Bronx, and I walked. He asked me to bring him some food for lunch, so I walked from the east side of the Bronx, from the west side of the Bronx to the east side, and Dave, he looked at me, he was like, wait, did you hear what you just said? I was like, yeah. I walked over there, and he introduced me to KRS. He was like, no. He said, you walked 3 miles with food to feed your future. My life literally changed when I walked into that shelter, and he introduced me to DJ Scott LaRock, who happened to be a social worker there, and KRS-1 actually lived in the shelter. And because of that chance meeting, I was Scott saw me and was like, hey, you look like you should be a part of our group. And that's literally how I got down with BDP.
Wow. And from there, you obviously recorded a number of albums as a rap artist. You had a record deal. You talk about that phase in your career.
Yeah, so that phase happened after I was producing or co-producing some of the records from the group. And, when the group signed to Jive Records, KRS was gracious enough to tell them, hey, he should have a solo deal as well. So they ended up giving me a deal at Jive, and we put out 2 albums, put out Call Me D Nice, which was my personal biggest record. between that and then, before that came out, I produced another song that was one of the most played hip hop songs, called Self Destruction.
Yep.
I produced
classic.
that song when I was like, classic. I produced that when I was like 18 years old.
Wow.
And
I didn't know you were so young when you did that. Well, it's been a minute, I guess. Yeah.
Yes. I was 18, and that went to sell nearly 1 million copies, and but I was still young, and I just loved hip hop. And what's so crazy is that because I started in the business since I was 15, by the time I was 22 years old, I was considered old school, and and I was I couldn't get another deal. I was dropped from Jive, and I kind of lost everything. So when you talk about reinvention, like I literally lost everything. I didn't, I lost my car. I had no money. I had no finances, nothing. And I decided to. It took a while, but I ended up like starting a creative services company called United Camps, and this is what changed my life. I started this company with like, just a loan, $500 loan, and ended up like building like some really big websites. So I was doing, no one knew that back then, but I was like, I built the Diary of Alicia Keys website. I was Boyz II Men, Luther Vandross, and I had deals with Motown to J Records.
But how did you even know how to do that? I mean,
so a buddy of mine was already programming, and I would just go to his office and watch them code. So then I picked up books. Yeah, it's so crazy. Talk about reinvention. Like
that is crazy. I can watch people code all day, and I won't know how to code. I guarantee you that.
I was just curious, like, oh wow, if I learned how to code, like to write HTML, and I learned Flash programming, and I ended up just starting my own business, and it changed my whole life because it gave me purpose. It made me still, being in the music industry and being a producer, you're a creative. I didn't have a creative outlet, and when I started building websites, it gave me that outlet. Like I was still able to be around the business and to be able to create, and it changed everything for me. I didn't have to shop a demo. I was able to do this other thing, and doing this other thing is how I got into DJing, which is so crazy because no one would even invite me out to parties, and because I was doing this other thing, I was still kind of connected or music industry adjacent because I was building these sites. But then I started to get the invitations to go out, and going out, I would hear other DJs play, like Q-Tip and Mark Ronson. Mark Ronson, one of the greatest producers, and Q-Tip, obviously, one of the greatest MCs and producers of hip-hop. They invited me to their party, and I would stand there watching the two of them play all these classic records. And because I wasn't going out to parties, I didn't know these records. I didn't know the younger generation even wanted to hear these records. And because of that, that's why I got into DJing. And my life changed ever since.
So that's really wild. For the one of my takeaways is don't let D-Nice watch you do anything because he's going to know how to do it better than you in a minute.
Hey!
Don't watch me do radio. Look the other way.
Listen, I was listening to your voice anyway. I was like, yes, this is how you do it. This is how you do it, man. And congrats on your career. It's always good to see people who just have a love for their craft. Just to see people like that win, and to win not just because it's about money. It's about when you just love what you do. It resonates with people. And it changed lives, and I'm just pretty fortunate to have been in this position to do what I love for so long.
Yeah, it's truly a blessing. But and be able to adapt. I mean, it sounds like when you got your own company, you're no longer at the mercy of the industry, right? Because you're controlling your destiny,
Absolutely.
And now you can be in a truly creative space. So, what does that feel like?
My gosh, man, it's great. Like it's so gratifying to. One of the things I learned during COVID was when the world stopped, all you had was like the love of people. That's all we had. Most of us weren't working, but for someone like me, like I started playing music as online to just because I wanted to still feel connected. It wasn't about, no one hired me, so no one could tell me like, hey, can you play this list of songs? I literally played what I felt and what I loved. And it was the first time in my career. Now, mind you, I DJ everywhere, and I was DJing everywhere before that. But I always felt like I got to play what people want to dance to.
Mm-hmm.
During that time when I was able to just play and there was no one in front of me, you didn't have to listen to me. You played because I played with feeling and with heart. And I wasn't typical, and that freedom that I had to do what I was doing at that time was so gratifying. And I mean, it makes me emotional right now just thinking about it, because it changed something within me where it was no longer about, I'm just trying to make you dance. I'm literally trying to feed your soul with music. And that is, I no longer had to be that other version of me where I was trying to compete and be in the club and try to get people to love me. All I had to literally do was just be myself. And it's just a great feeling.
And we were dancing. I know I was in my house. Every time I saw D-Nice's live, I'd be like, press that button and let's go. We're about to turn up in the living room in our socks. And so definitely thank you for that. There's more to this journey, a lot more to this story, and it's quite inspiring. We'll continue our conversation with DJ D-Nice after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. A 7.3 magnitude earthquake in the Pacific Island nation Vanuatu damaged the U.S. Embassy and caused communication outages, killing more than one person. All U.S. Embassy personnel safely evacuated. Congress will vote this week on a stopgap spending bill that includes new restrictions on U.S. investments in Chinese technology and AI aimed at protecting national security. The NBA All-Star Game will feature a new format this season, a 3-game tournament between 4 teams, including the Rising Stars winner. Honorary GMs include Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith, and Candace Parker. The event is on February 16th in San Francisco, California. And Universal Pictures has renamed next year's Wicked sequel to Wicked for Good. The film covering the second act of the Broadway musical will be released on November 21st, 2025. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
New deals just dropped at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select holiday decor clearance. Plus, save with weekly deal drops on appliances, tools, and more. Valid 12/12 through 12/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
More road games are coming up for Bronny James. LeBron's son will play with the South Bay Lakers in the G League Showcase this week in Orlando. When Bronny was assigned to South Bay in November, the original plan was to limit him to home games only. In South Bay's last 3 games, 2 of them on the road, Bronny is averaging 20 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. First game for South Bay in the 4-day showcase this Thursday. The Milwaukee Bucks were 2-8 in November. Last night, they won the NBA Cup championship in Vegas. They beat Oklahoma City 97-81. A monster triple-double for Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo, 26 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists. Former NFL star Michael Vick, a sensational quarterback back in the day, will be the new head football coach at HBCU Norfolk State. More details on Vick's new job this afternoon. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Whether you're going over the river and through the woods in the capable Silverado 1500, getting the choir to church on time in the 3-row Traverse.
Thank you!
Or driving cross town to deliver your famous Cajun-spiced holiday turkey in the Equinox EV, America's most affordable EV with a 315-plus mile range. Add confidence to every holiday adventure and get it done with a rugged and capable Chevy truck or SUV. Now during Red Tag, get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $27.78 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment is 26.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 1/2/25.
Thank you! The revolution will not be televised.
This is Brother Cornell West. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm full of joy and delight to announce that I'm joining the precious family at KBLA Talk 1580, founded and led by my dear, dear brother Tavis Smiley himself. Yes, the name of the show is Truth Time, and I'll be working with the inimitable Nina Turner out of Cleveland, Ohio, sister of great vision, and we will be on weekdays at 12 noon. We will be following Brother Tavis Smiley's show. We will begin Monday, January the 6th. That's right, Monday, January the 6th. Get ready for a different kind of insurrection. We coming with Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer and Curtis Mayfield and Aretha Franklin, and gonna add a little Gil Scott Heron too, as Nina Simone sits at the center. That's right.
The revolution will be live.
That's what we gonna do. Please come with us on this fantastic voyage.
The revolution will put you in the driver's seat.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
We all agreed tonight, all of the speakers have agreed that America has a very serious problem. Not only does America have a very serious problem, but our people have a very serious problem. America's problem is self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. Self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. Self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. Self-destruction.
The producer of that classic song, little KRS-1. I can't just talk over Chris. A little self-destruction. That song produced by producer, rap artist, DJ, web developer, and apparently photographer, D Nice, who is on the phone. That's the other part I didn't know until I was getting ready for this particular interview. Aside from creating your own company, following a career as a rapper and a producer, you also became a photographer, and not a casual photographer, quite a successful one. Let me guess, you watched someone taking photos.
You want to? I wish. Listen, that is actually what happened. That's like literally what happened. All right, I'm going to tell you a story about this one because it's kind of a cool one. So one day they were shooting. There's a magazine back in the day called Double XL magazine, and they decided to recreate the famous photo of Great Day in Harlem. But instead of using jazz artists, they were going to use hip hop artists. So I was
remember
invited
that.
to that.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yep. All right. So the photographer was Gordon Parks. The legendary Gordon Parks was the one who photographed us. So I was still kind of lost, trying to figure out what did I want to do. You know, I wasn't DJing then, and I wasn't rapping. I was just getting into doing my own web company. So that was still fresh. But I watched Gordon Parks, and I watched him still load his film back. And at the time, I think he transitioned when he was like 90, 92. So at that time, he was like in his 70s. And to see someone who was that kind of like, older at the time for me, to see that he still loved what he was doing. I was like, man, I want to be like that. Like, to still love what you do. You're still being creative. And I ended up like, just getting a camera, and I started taking pictures, and I haven't stopped, and from there, my photography has taken me to some cool places. I was a featured photographer on America's Next Top Model, with Tyra, and Tyra had found my work online and asked me to photograph her, and personally, and then I photographed Hallie, and I photographed 50 for Tyra's talk show, and then she was like, hey, we got an opportunity for you to do America's Next Top Model. And from there, I started shooting more album covers and campaigns, from Hennessy to, just all these different brands. But I was able to still just be creative. And now I carry my camera with me. I do more kind of street photography now and like more documentary work, because when this journey has been so beautiful to have all of this access and to always have a camera with me. Like I literally always have a camera with me.
So you're just a creative. I mean, really, just creativity on pretty much every level, which is to me that's the safe place in the industry when we're in our creative space, not in our trying to be the next man, comparing ourselves to each other, desperate phase. But when we can stay in the creative lane, that's the sweet spot, I think.
It's a great position to be in when you, like I said earlier, when you actually just love what you do, and when you're in the business of being of service to people, it comes back to you. The love comes back to you, and because of that, I just try to keep spreading love with everything that I do. And like part of being a photographer for me, being one part of who I am, it's no longer about I'm trying to like shoot some campaign. It's literally just me just trying to document the culture. One day I was out in Watts, and I was photographing an album cover for TDE's first release, which was J-Rock. And this was like, a long time ago. And at the end of the shoot, the guys were like, "Hey, can you photograph our little man?" And I took some pictures of this young kid. Fast forward 10 years later, I saw this kid's album cover one day, and I was like, "Wow, this kid, he looks familiar." And it ended up being like Kendrick Lamar. And like,
so you have pictures of him somewhere as a little kid hanging out with J-Rock.
He was like 16. Like, and it's like to be able to document our culture, not just hip hop culture, but just culture, period. Like, it's to have something tangible to look back on, or to show how, you only see one side of it when someone's viewing an artist. But for someone like myself, who I'm always a fan, like I don't care who it is. If I love the music, I'm always going to be a fan. And to have access and to kind of be able to document that and show someone this other side of Dave Chappelle, or this other side of Mary J. Blige, or whatever it is, I just enjoy doing that. And it's really just my love of culture.
What is that thing inside of D-Nice that makes you flexible? Because a lot of us are like, well, I have to be a movie star. And if I'm not a movie star, I don't want to do anything. Or if I'm not on the mic, if I can't keep beatboxing, then it's over. But it seems like, you're able to sort of flow with what the universe is giving you to work with, or what opportunities arise. What is that?
Well, part of it was because I had records out at such a young age.
Right.
And to be considered old school at 22, it's like someone telling you what you did it no longer matters. And that was a hard feeling for me at 22 years old, for someone to tell me that, because I'd given my all. I never went to college, I never went to college. So I had devoted my life to being creative, and then I felt rejected. And, years later, a buddy of mine who's no longer with us, his name is Chris Lighty. He was managing 50 and Mariah and all these people. And I went to him as trying to get back into the music game, because I was like, I want to rap. And Chris said to me, I will never forget this. He said, "You don't really need to do that. You can do so many things. Why don't you try these other things?" And initially I thought it was just him telling me like, "Oh, what you're making is terrible." But he was like, "No, you're great at all of these other things as well. Like, why don't you just show the world that?" And I took that advice, and I never looked back. I took that advice of someone. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't love the music I was creating, but it was just like, did the music at the time love me back? So did the audience love me back? Like, I didn't even have a deal. So he just kind of challenged me to open up more and to be creative. And because of that, no one looks at me as like a hip hop artist or an old school artist. And if you've ever been to my sets or heard my sets, I play a variety of music, and I particularly love soul music. I love the music of Stevie Wonder. I love that music, and I love the way it makes me feel. I love the way a Diana Ross record makes me feel. But then I love playing Lloyd, and because I didn't pigeonhole myself, I get to do all of these things. and I get to have fun with it. And it is, I'm telling you, like, I wake up every day. Most times I don't listen to music unless I'm DJing because I still want it to feel fresh and fun. But I wake up every day with this feeling, knowing that what I do matters to someone out there.
It sure does.
And to have been that 22-year-old kid who felt that nothing mattered, what I did didn't matter, and to here we are decades later, you know, I changed that narrative. And this is all I want to do. I just want to keep pouring into people.
You're old school when you're 22, but here you are in what some people would call middle age, and you're a new artist. So what goes around comes around. But I think also you could have taken what Chris Lighty said as a diss and gotten all puffed up instead of going and saying, well, let me look at where my creativity takes me.
Yes. That's actually funny though that I was considered old school at 22, and then like fresh best new artist type of vibe that, like, you know, when I hit 50. That someone I read like something in one of the papers, and it was like overnight sensation, D Nice, and I was like, wait, that is the longest night ever.
Yeah, well, I always say God's got jokes. You know, you get to be old at 22 and young at 50. That's a blessing. When we come forward, I want to talk a little bit about the art of DJing, though, because DJs are now superstars, and you clearly are moving the crowd. D-Nice is with us. He's got a big party New Year's Eve in Los Angeles, and you can go. It's at the Disney Hall. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been hearing me guest host here on KBLA Talk 1580, and I'm having a blast. But I'm excited about joining the official lineup here at KBLA Talk 1580 starting Monday, January 6th at 1 p.m. Start your day with First Things First and Dominique DiPrima at 6 a.m. Check out Tavis Smiley at 9 a.m. Tune into Truth Time with Dr. Cornell West and Nina Turner at 12 noon, and then tap in with me on The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show at 1 p.m. weekdays. I served 17 years in the U.S. Congress, and I can tell you it's going to be a rough 4 years, so let's navigate this journey together. It's The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, starting Monday, January 6th at 1 p.m. on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I don't even know where to start with health insurance. Do I just, call a hospital and ask them?
Look up Covered California. That's their whole deal, making it easier to get and pay for health insurance.
Okay, but can I afford it?
Yes. They work with a bunch of health insurance companies. I pay something like $10 a month, and it's actually really good coverage.
Wait, what? How did I not know this?
You just needed to know who to ask.
If you've got questions, Covered California can help every step of the way. Enroll by December 31st. Covered California. This way to health insurance.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail, because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
We're talking with DJ D-Nice, rap artist, web developer, photographer, and now I would say one of the most popular DJs in America. And to your point about new artist vibes, you got so many awards for Club Quarantine. You got a special NAACP award, an ASCAP Voice of the Culture award, and on it goes. So congratulations on all of that. BET Shining the Light award. But talk to me about the art of that's got to be weird, right? At at this stage.
Well, I'll say the one that the award that means the most to me. I mean, I appreciate all the accolades and it's great, but the NAACP Entertainer of the Year award, where it was an award given because of what I was pouring into the world, and that was to be recognized by such a prestigious organization and people because of our love of culture. And by the way, literally what I was playing was just soul music and the music that people could just share with their family. So that award means so much to me.
Has a DJ ever won Entertainer of the Year award? I don't recall that happening.
No.
Yeah, that's amazing.
No.
That's huge. And also you got a Webby, right, for having 150,000 simultaneous streams, which makes my head explode.
Hey, you know what? I need to talk to you every day. So I like being reminded of these things. It's kind of cool.
Absolutely, anytime. So tell me about the art of DJing. I mean, it's a competitive field. A lot of people think they're DJs now, and DJs have become international stars, big draws. How did you, I don't know, I'm scared to ask you this, but how did you perfect the art of being a DJ?
Well, I don't think I've ever perfected it. I wouldn't say that. Like for my style of DJing, I think it's more like I watched other DJs. Like I'm not like a great, you have like mixologists or you have like more turntablists, like scratching DJs. I'm not really a scratching DJ. I love melody. I love mixing. I love that style of DJing. And what I would do was, this is actually funny. Someone that hired me to do like one of their big parties, hired me to do a big party. At the end of the night, he came to the DJ booth and he said, "You are horrible." And I was like offended by it. He was like, "You are horrible. Like, I can't believe you started these records from the beginning and you never mixed anything." And I thought that's what DJing was. Like, if the song started with like strings, if it started with strings, then I started the song from the strings, which ended up changing the way people dance. Like, you had to stop to find a rhythm again. And because he said that to me, I went out and I started to study like other DJs from other genres of, so like old school DJ Little Louis Vega, who plays more house music. I went to hear DJ Red Alert, who's more hip hop, but he was also blending records. And I was like, oh wow, they're like counting bars, like they're mixing it so it sounds like one long song all night. Chorus, all it. So because of that, because of them, and because of a Q-Tip or a Mark Ronson, because of the way they started to play music, it made me practice more, and I wanted that kind of DJing. And, I think with what I do, I'm really good at it. I can't lie. Because I really do care about it. Right. I care about the culture. I care about the mixes. I care about the people. Like, if someone comes to your party to hear you play, they're giving you 2-3 hours of their lives, so I try to make sure that with those 2 hours that I give you everything I have. So when you leave, you feel like you didn't waste your time and you had this amazing experience.
But again, someone comes and tells you you're horrible, and instead of getting in a fight, you go and do some research. I think that's important, right? That's an important note.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, if it's someone who cares about you and all they want to do is to see you win, if it's like someone's just hating for no reason, that's different. But if it's someone who you care about and you trust and believe and you know that they have your best interests at heart, it is important to listen. And I think that is the key thing. is to listen with open ears and like with an open heart. Don't take anything offensively. Just listen. Someone's going to give you some good advice. So even with like younger DJs, I always tell, sometimes like people that may have been like, maybe like an opening DJ. So, you go to a party, you may have someone just playing music as people are walking into the venue, and then your headliner DJ gets on, which, most cases now it's probably me or DJ Cassidy or, Calvin Harris. But I always tell the opening DJ, like, don't ever be offended by that, because even with that is probably more important, that opening slot, than the actual headline. It's easy to be a headline DJ and to get on there and to play music because people are hyped to see you. But that person that goes on first is the one that's setting the tone for the entire night. And I always try to instill that in them. Never play like you're just, throwing it away. Like, no, that moment is so important, because I used to be that person. I had to play music. I used to DJ for 6 hours. Which is so crazy, because most time my sets now are like 90 minutes. But during the pandemic, I would play for 19 hours. I would play for 15 hours. I couldn't stop playing music. But it's because I learned how to do that when I was someone's opener. And it's just, try to give that advice to younger people.
Wow. Literally let them use you. I was happy to see KRS-1 on your Instagram and, see so many of the other artists from, the pioneers of hip hop big upping you and liking posts and things like that. It seems like folks are, happy for you, and that there's some unity there.
Yeah, no, it's, it's seeing KRS, which happened a couple of weeks ago. He was performing out in Venice, and I saw it online, and I was like, he didn't even know I was coming. I just got in my car and drove over there and surprised him, and I was really happy to see him, because KRS and I always had this more so on KRS's side, like, more like I was the little brother. I was always the little brother. And during that conversation that we had the other night, I was teasing him, because on the back of one of his albums, he said, D-Nice is not down with us. And I asked him that day, I was like, what did I ever do to you? And he couldn't name one thing. But that conversation was so important. It was so important that before we parted ways that night, he looked at me and he said, I want you to know that the love is always real. And, like, even as someone who's, I'm in my 50s, like, even, he was always going to be my big brother. But just hearing that decades later meant so much to me. So I look back at that picture that I posted a couple of weeks ago, and it brings me nothing but joy, because I can tell that he is genuinely happy for me. And the same thing, I saw MC Light last night, and she was like, yo, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. So to be relevant and to still do what we love when we were younger, and to introduce this music to a new audience and to have it resonate with them it's just heartwarming, and I'm so grateful to still be here doing it.
And you guys hadn't seen each other for a while, so that was an important moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So important. And yeah, it was great. I can't lie, it was great to see him though.
Yeah.
It's great to see KRS.
That's a beautiful thing. I mean, when you can have those full circle moments. Okay, so you got a show. We got a couple minutes here. Tell folks how they can be down for New Year's Eve with D-Nice at the Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles.
Oh, my gosh. All right, first things first, right? You can go to laphil.com and get your tickets. And the show is like I said, it's going to be like one big party, even though people are like, well, we're going to be sitting down. No, you're not going to be sitting in your seats. We party like this at the Hollywood Bowl. You can stand up and dance and feel that energy. And I'm bringing out, I have, so it's D-Nice and Friends. I have Johnny Gill with me. I'm bringing out Big Daddy Kane, Case, Next. Oh, I got Next coming. I have Tweet, Estelle. We have Mike Phillips, Kenny Burns. Tisha Campbell is hosting. Lady London. Like, it's just going to be just like this incredible just party. So I'm excited. It's New Year's Eve. Doors open at like 9:30. Showtime is at 10:30, and then we are going to bring in the new year together. full of love.
Sounds like a great, fun, and really, just joyous way to bring in a new year. And Lord knows we need it because it's been a rough little few months.
Hey, listen, we definitely need it. We need to smile going into 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I know, you're almost like a trauma counselor. It's 2020 now. Here we are, 2024. Run to D-Nice because we got a big problem. Thank you so much for
music therapy.
Thank you so much for being with me today. It's been a lot of fun talking with you.
Likewise, I appreciate you, and thank you for your time. This was honestly one of my favorite conversations, so thank you.
Yay. All right, Tavis Smiley is up next. He's got a hard-hitting show for you as usual. Tavis does not play. And I want to remind you to hit us up on all the social media. Let's keep this going around the clock. I'm at KBLA 1580, and you can find me at DiPrima Radio. Like my mama, the great Diane DiPrima, used to say, history is now, and we are making it together. Oh, don't forget, tomorrow we have Dr. Valicia Adams-Cullen, the CEO of the LA Homeless Service Authority, will be joining me first thing in the morning. You do not want to miss that conversation. History is now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. A 7.3 magnitude earthquake in the Pacific Island nation Vanuatu damaged the U.S. Embassy and caused communication outages, killing more than one person. All U.S. Embassy personnel safely evacuated. Congress will vote this week on a stopgap spending bill that includes new restrictions on U.S. investments in Chinese technology and AI.